I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I needed to do this video before going to bed. A man in Abagana in Anambra State poured premium motor spirit on his wife, a mother of 5 boys, and set her ablaze, and the woman eventually died in the hospital, and the man was arrested. And I saw the interview. He was crying and was regretting his action. Let me state some facts that most men and most married people don't understand. Number one, marriage is regulated by government. There is no marriage certificate that has a church heading. It is the local government that regulates marriages. You will see the courts, the local government, there is a logo, government logo. Marriage can be celebrated in your family compound and celebrated in church, but the church has no right to regulate marriages. This must be known. The rules governing marriage by government are are totally different in many cases from the rules in the Bible. One of such rules is that adultery is condemned by the Bible and the Quran. But in southern Nigeria, adultery is not a criminal offense. And so, if you catch somebody sleeping with your wife or with your husband, you don't have any right to inflict any injury on that person, or parade the person naked, or beat the person up. It is the purview of the courts to sentence an individual. You don't have a right to inflict any punishment on a citizen outside the court. I had a very funny case in a country. A thief was injured by the owner of the house after arresting him. The thief sued the owner of the house for damages. He said that it was true that he broke into the man's house. The man apprehended him. It was not within the man's right to inflict punishment on him, that it was the right of the court to inflict punishment. And so you must be very careful. You just see a man, so you see somebody committing adultery with your wife, you fight him. No. So the church cannot issue a divorce certificate or issue a divorce judgment. It cannot. It can only advise. And most times churches don't advise you to divorce. Now, one other thing is that Dr. Apoki, does not own himself. Dr. Apoki does not own himself. In the Bible, God owns us. But in reality, the state owns us. The state owns us. So you cannot take your life. If you attempt it and you fail, the state will punish you. The state owns you. The next thing is that you don't own your children. You are only responsible for taking care of your children. If you fail in that parental responsibility, the state the government has a right to take those children from you, and there's nothing you can do. The next thing is that you don't own your wife's body. You don't own her body. Forget scripture that says that the woman's body and the man's body. No. It doesn't apply in the law. So you don't have a right to lay hands on your wife's body without her permission. You can't traumatize her. You can't strip her naked. You can't forcefully have carnal knowledge with her. That is the law. And so most men in Africa and Nigeria in particular think that the wife is their property. No. If she committed adultery, that man had no right to inflict injury and inflame, set her ablaze. It is not his prerogative. He doesn't have that right. This is very important. My wife. No. You just have a relationship approved by law. You don't own her. The token of bride price you paid does not make her your possession. You can't traumatize her. You can't injure her. Same thing with your husband. A lady stabbed the husband to death and cut off his genital and put it in the man's mouth because the man was committing adultery. But you are not the first wife. I think you were the second or third wife. So all this anger issue that the average African man thinks that he has a right to traumatize even your children, you don't have that right. And you must be very careful. Very, very careful. We needed to state this upfront and to caution men. Now, if you have a temper problem, don't marry. Don't marry until you solve your temper problem. I told about 2 years back, I made a video. If you have a temper problem, don't marry. If you are a perfectionist, don't marry. You will see a lot of rubbish in marriage. You will see illogical actions and provocations, a lot of rubbish in marriage. Because you are an imperfect person married to an imperfect person. Don't expect too much from marriage. And if you want logicality in marriage, don't marry. And I told people that marriage is the only situation where you can say, I am sorry, even when you are right. Particularly as a man. When you see the woman crying, tell her sorry, even though she did wrong. You can use those tears to blackmail you. And I said, I had been stupid for 38 years as at then. Now I have been stupid for 40 years. 40 years of stupidity, and I'm enjoying it. So, you do not bring your temper issue, your perfectionist tendency, your narcissistic tendency into marriage. No. Madam, marriage does not make your husband an ATM machine that will just be bringing money. No. If he says he doesn't have, understand. If he has, understand. So we should be more careful and understand the law as it concerns marriage. And for those of you in the diaspora, you can't carry your African mentality, particularly with the men. You can't carry your African mentality to Europe and to America, to Canada, to Australia. No. In the rules, they are very different. In fact, the order of precedence, the wife, whether women come before children, I don't know, but the wife, the children, the pets, dog and pussycat, the trees in your compound, and then the husband is the last person, the least. Before you cut trees in your compound, trees that you planted, you need permission from the local council. You can't maltreat animals. The children are taught how to phone police. In fact, in Australia, they inspect their bodies. You dare not say, I beat the child. You dare not. You are in trouble. So, there was a place I stayed in Australia. They come to inspect the toilets, whether the facilities, tissue paper, shampoo, and all those things are there. So you can't just carry African mentality, go to Europe. No, the woman is working, you are working. It is stressful on her, stressful on you. So you can't cross your leg, watch television, expect her to cook. You share the duties, you share expenditure. It's a different ball game. And madam, you can't just go there and negate your Africanness. It doesn't work. In fact, some of these countries, the police officers have reported that Nigerian women should stop coming to calling them for their husbands, to arrest their husbands. Some will just fake anything. I did a video concerning that. One woman called me and was ranting, and I knew she was like that kind of woman. Until recently, they said, Nigerian women, stop calling the police on your husbands because you want to get property. You want to take over the building. You want to take over the building, collect money for until the child is 18. It will not be well with you if you do that. But if a marriage is traumatic, if it is a danger to your life, leave. Don't listen to church people, leave. If the woman is aggressive and can endanger your life, leave. If the man will endanger your life, leave. And stop making mockery of single mothers and people whose marriages failed. Marriage is only one aspect of a person's life. They can succeed in other things. Donald Trump has become president. I think this is his third wife. Kenneth Copeland has married for many years. That is his second marriage. And the list goes on and on. Maria Wood, Miss Semple McPherson, that founded the First Square Church, had marriages that didn't work. But the Spirit of God was still in her. So don't use marriage failure to make mockery of somebody. And the fact that people will laugh at you if you leave a marriage does not mean you should die in the marriage. I know a man who beats 2 women to death and their graves are in their compound. And he will still go and look for another wife. Please. This is very important. And I sympathize with the family of the woman, and grieves me the children. The state government in Anambra State should see a way of taking care of those children, training them, and providing psychological support for them. Very traumatic experience. And when I saw where they lived in, very ramshackle place, and most poor men have hot temper, very tempestuous attitude. The woman is not your problem, though some are sometimes. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. I have a webinar coming up 7th and 8th of February. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62 via WhatsApp. Don't send me message. 80 +234 80 21 21 92 62. We are talking about overcoming frustration and stagnation in life, ministry, and career. We have properties for sale. God bless you.